Week from Tuesday is Super Tuesday, but this Tuesday is the Florida primary for the Republicans. Right here, we're in Tampa this morning. Rudy Giuliani, this was the state that he planted his flag in. We're watching Mitt Romney and John McCain contend for the top spot. Here's Rudy Giuliani's poll numbers, NBC Wall Street Journal poll. In March of '07, his favorable rating was 58%. His unfavorable was 14%. Now, his favorable is 29%. His unfavorable is 40%. The Mason-Dixon poll with MSNBC. Now it's Romney 30, McCain 26, Giuliani 18. In November, it was Romney 15, McCain 10, Giuliani 36. He's lost half his support. What happened?
I was at a Giuliani event in Orlando yesterday. It was rather small, and then he got a rather tepid response at the Orange County Republican dinner last night. It's been amazing. I think it's a result of simply bad strategy on his part. If you look back, he was second at various times, not all that long ago, in Iowa and in New Hampshire. He was tied for the lead as late as December in Michigan and in South Carolina, and yet he chose not to compete with those. And somebody who knows about this was saying he went into New Hampshire for a while. He seemed to have some chance, so he goes in, he spends a couple of $1 million. The polls don't immediately change, and he pulls out. And that's how he ends up in Florida, with everybody thinking that this is his last stand. It's his first stand, and it's also his last stand.
Maureen, Dowd, the indictment of Bernard Carrick, his former police commissioner, who he proposed to be Secretary of Homeland Security, stories about his New York City police detail being used to guard his then-girlfriend, now wife, Judith Nathan. Did those issues just take a toll on Rudy Giuliani?
Oh, of course, and he's got to stop talking about 911 and call 911 because he is in real trouble there. And I was expecting more of from a man who loves opera, more of an operatic finale, one way or the other, to save himself or to self-immolate. I mean, some Maria Callas death scene. But he's so mundane, and actually yesterday he switched his message to hope. So that's not going to work for Rudy Giuliani.
When he was mayor of New York, he went into town hall meetings, he got sweaty, he fought back, he was able to jump on the headlines of the day and say something provocative, and he just seems to be sleepwalking. Is he recognizing that he's not going to win and sort of protecting his next career? Yeah, and protecting Giuliani partners. What happens, Romney versus McCain here in Florida and onward?
Well, I think that it's a must-win for Romney. John McCain, they won't be able to stop John McCain if he gets a win out of Florida. He will finally disprove this theory that he can't win when there's only Republicans that vote in a primary. So a victory here for McCain, he will come out of here like a rocket. Not only will he win, not only will he steal the Giuliani strategy. I mean, he's got to, by the way, he should thank Rudy Giuliani's campaign, because the one groundwork they did, Rudy may not have been running for president, but his campaign was, and they got all these winner-take-all states all these states in the Northeast to become winner-take-all: New York, Connecticut, Delaware, New Jersey. Well, now John McCain automatically now has a pad of a couple hundred delegates that he's going to get on February 5th because he's going to take the Rudy strategy. But if he wins here, he will skyrocket, and then he'll get Illinois and California. So Romney has to win here. Now, Romney has a lot of intangibles in his favor with Florida. This is a fairly conservative Republican electorate. This isn't an electorate that's predisposed for John McCain. More importantly, Giuliani's hurting McCain here. He banked early vote. That's with moderates. He's got a decent chunk of the Cuban vote, which is something that McCain has been trying to compete for. So you look at it demographically, ideologically, this thing seems to favor Romney. Plus, he's got his own money. He's on the air more. But Romney has to win here, because if he doesn't, he's not going to stop McCain.
You saw Senator McCain's reaction, Maureen, to Bill Clinton, saying that if John McCain's the nominee, he and my wife would have a wonderful civil campaign. And I asked whether he thought Bill Clinton was being mischievous, and he said, I think nothing but honorable thoughts and intentions for the former president. Was Bill Clinton trying to stir things up and hurt John McCain in the Republican primary? Well, I asked McCain about that in the green room doing reporting, and he was saying not to think I know he really does like Hillary Clinton. I've talked to him about that and thinks she's really fun to travel with. But he said to expect fireworks. He's not going to lay off of her. He's already talking about how she's waving the white flag of surrender on Iraq.
They enjoy the vodka shots, right?
Yeah, they did in Estonia, yes.
But was Bill Clinton trying to tilt the Republican primary?
Sure he was. I mean, it was a 1-2 punch against McCain with the New York Times endorsement, which, you know, immediately after it happened, I'd be getting emails from the Romney campaign talking about the New York Times endorsing McCain. New York Times endorsement and Bill Clinton's endorsement. I mean, what else does an opponent of John McCain want going into a big primary?
The suggestion being that Hillary Clinton, if she was the nominee, would prefer to run against Mitt Romney?
Well, that's always been the calculus in here of Republicans thinking who's the weakest Democrat to run against, who's the weakest Republican. The head-to-head polls have consistently shown only one candidate, John McCain, actually beating any Democrat in the fall matchup.
What do you expect leading into Super Tuesday between Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton?
Well, I think, you know, it's very interesting to me because I think that in Iowa, Obama learned how to connect with his electricity. Usually you have someone being the daddy figure, and he's like the blessed child, you know, who's learning as he goes, and we're watching him learn and get personally upset in real time, which we saw with McCain in South Carolina in 2000. Now we're seeing with Obama, and the question is, did this give him his spine? You know, he's been struggling. Is he on the pedestal like Adlai Stevenson, or is he JFK and RFK who knows how to fight back? And I think he's got a false choice. He doesn't have to be Tanya Harding to fight back. He could be like Reagan and just flick them away and use wit. But he's learning on the job, and he, you know, his speech, his victory speech last night was angry. You know, he is angry at the Clintons for what he sees as underhanded tactics, and they were underhanded. So it depends. Is he going to get back on the pedestal, or is he going to figure out some way that he's comfortable with, not to do cage fighting?
Can you mix hope and defiance?
Exactly.
And how will the Clintons now behave? Will Bill Clinton alter his tactics, Chuck Todd?
Well, you know, what's interesting is I think that what Clinton has done to Obama will make Obama a better general election candidate.
Right.
But what Bill Clinton's been doing is weakening Hillary Clinton in a general election if she gets the nomination. They have to, I guess, tone him down. You know, the most striking thing about last night is who's the first Clinton that America heard from last night? It was Bill, not Hillary.
Yeah,
how
what was he saying?
weird was that as far as sort of, it really just reinforced this idea that it is Billary. That is the candidate, and now this is becoming more and more sort of conventional wisdom inside of voters.
And he was comparing Obama to Jesse Jackson, which Hillary starts with comparing him to Martin Luther King, who can't get something done, and then Bill finishes with comparing him to Jesse Jackson, who couldn't get elected. So it wasn't pretty.
To be continued. Byron, New York, Maureen, Dowd, Chuck Todd, thank you. We'll be right back.